Okay, right, so I'm James, I produce under the name Lung, and I'm interviewing Mr. High Contrast, Lincoln Barrett, ahead of Hospitality Cardiff on March the 3rd. So, gonna ask you a few questions.
Okay.
Loose-ended things, we'll just talk around it and stuff. But, yeah, okay, so first things first, your album, The Agony The Ecstasy, is out in February 24th?
I think 27th.
27th. 27th.
I think.
And it's your first artist LP since Tough Guys Don't Dance in 2007.
Yeah.
So, how did the kind of writing of this album differ in terms, like, since that one?
It's the same basic process, you know. It's still one man alone in a room with a computer, you know. So, to me, it's in the same kind of lineage as the albums that came before, you know. But I think what changed is that I had like that 5-year hiatus, and that kind of just gave me some distance, and I kind of just didn't want to roll out another album. I kind of wanted to take the time to just refresh myself and get some some new ideas, and it almost feels like being a new artist again, in a way, you know.
Kind of a new start. And stuff.
Yeah, and there's like a new kind of generation of, drum and bass or hospital fans out there.
Yeah, well, since 2007, it's like 5 years. So.
Yeah, or like, a lot of people might know me from If We Ever.
Yeah.
But they don't know anything about like Return of Forever.
Yeah, which is my favourite.
Right, thank you. But that's kind of something to get your head around, Wow, they've got no idea about everything that came before necessarily. So that's kind of interesting, and it kind of re-energizes me, and I also set myself something of a limitation, which I think is important. I think artists should be limited, because I always think if you can do anything, you end up doing nothing. And you look at like the rap artists, their first album's amazing when they're struggling and
when they've got no money,
they're just out of the ghetto. 5 albums in,
it's all kind
they're
of
millionaires,
shiny,
and what can they say anymore?
His phone's going.
Mr. Cameraman.
Silent.
So I think you kind of almost have to set yourself limitations when you're an established artist. So on this record, I wanted the rough kind of rule that there wouldn't be any major samples.
Yeah.
And sampling had been kind of intrinsic to everything I made before.
Yeah, well, I think intrinsic to the genre, isn't it? It's,
it's
drum and bass do, isn't it?
Was built on sampling, wasn't it? Now it's somewhat different. I think the newer generation.
Much more performance sort of thing.
But it's also about the VST instrument. That seems to be the bread and butter of tracks today. So I kind of wanted to find a hybrid of the two, and so I'd often would find a sample, but I would just use that as a springboard to maybe take some chords from, or just
ideas.
A loose idea, and I always like the thing where you build a track with a sample, and then you take the sample out, and then you're left with something else.
It's a new kind of twist on it.
And then also this album's kind of different in that I wrote some of the lyrics on it. Like it's got more vocal tracks than anything I've made before, and they're not sampled vocals on any of the tracks. So they're completely
original lyrics and recordings.
Yeah, I mean it's a mix. Some of the lyrics I wrote, some of them the vocalist wrote, and then others are lyrics that are from an old song that I've kind of taken and reimagined in a new context and had resung.
So it's quite personal then, like
more
personal.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
it feels more resonant, personal resonance. You know? And I think as well, the tracks sit together better. I think although I love contrast on the previous album, I know I keep saying it, but it is my entire philosophical worldview. But I don't know, the previous albums, I think they work, but they maybe don't feel as cohesive as this one.
Yeah.
You know, which, you know, you don't necessarily need, but on this album I specifically wanted it to be a whole, you know.
A body of work.
Yeah, and you know, I've really designed it to be listened to from beginning to end.
Yeah.
You know, and it to take you on a journey, but
Yeah.
you know, it to feel like, you know, like a film to me.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, it's just that. Yeah, I was going to bring that up actually. Like, you're quite into your films, to put it like as well as an understatement, really, isn't it? Like, you went to Newport to study film, university, and you've just directed the first two videos for, well, the first two singles of Agony The Ecstasy.
Yeah.
I mean, is this something that you'll be exploring further? Like, maybe music will be kind of put on the back burner for a bit, and maybe you'll go into film, or like, I mean...
Yeah, you know, ideally I'd like to be able to go between the two.
Yeah.
You know, it's very hard because to do anything well does require
time,
focus,
effort,
concentration, and time. But I feel I have to explore that avenue.
Yeah.
You know, that I've got a kind of a burning desire.
I think it'd be interesting
to do that. It would be very interesting if I ever do, you know, get a film made, because I mean, what people are expecting, I don't know. You know, and if there'd be any correlation between the kind of film it is and my pre-existing audience in drum and bass, I don't know. I think people might be surprised at the kind of film I made.
Yeah.
Know? But that's the contrast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. So we've done a little bit about films. What is your favourite tune from the Agony and the Ecstasy? If you had to pick one, it's a difficult question.
It's hard because you know when there's people involved like yourself on
certain
certain tracks, you kind of don't want to say.
I hate that one. Right?
No, but you know, I'm obviously into all of the tracks on it.
Yeah.
I think the one that I do enjoy listening to, like especially in the car.
Yeah.
And I think it is like a good car album. You know, you can kind of put it on a late night journey.
Yeah, go somewhere. And
but the track 238 Days,
okay,
which features Underworld as well.
Yeah.
Which is and there's no drums in the track.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of almost an ambient kind of track, but it feels like it's going to have drums, but it never.
But it never gets to.
It never gets to it, and I've always had that. I remember being on the dance floor in Emporium in Cardiff in the year 2000, I think, you know.
I was 10.
And watching Groove Rider.
Yeah.
And just having this moment where I suddenly had a vision of a drum and bass track that didn't have any drums or bass.
Yeah.
You know? And this track is kind of that. But yeah, I just like how that particular track evolves, the structure. I'm really into structure at the moment, you know, and that track has a lot of little moments that I really like. So I think that's my favourite.
Cool.
Perversely, there's no drums.
It's the complete opposite of drum and bass.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Yeah. Right then. I've got all my questions in front of me, so I'm looking at them now.
We'll edit this.
What has been your most memorable moment throughout your career so far? Like, was there ever a kind of... What are those moments where you're just like, oh my god, like kind of surreal sort of, wow, moments?
It's tricky because it's all gone so quickly.
Yeah.
I mean, the last 10 years is like that. I still feel like, you know, new kid on the block. You know, like... but then people are like, well, no, you're like, you know, one of the what, I don't know, what would be a pillar of drum and bass or something?
I think so. Like,
something.
You're certainly a household name in drum and bass, you know. So
so you know, it's weird. I don't really think in terms of, you know, status or anything like that. You know, I'm just a guy making tunes. You know, and I'm just trying to have fun and express myself as best I can. But yeah, a couple of moments stick out. You know, when Tony Coleman first rang me to say he wanted to sign me to the label. You know, that was a punch to the air kind of moment. You know,
That was a mini disc, wasn't it? Like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, that was before I had a CD burner.
Oh, yes,
you
yes.
know. Yeah, I was just giving them demos on mini disc.
Yeah.
And not long before that, I was giving out demos on cassette tape.
Yeah.
You know. So things have changed a lot.
Yeah.
You know, where most people wouldn't even bother burning a CD
No,
now. They
internet.
just send
Yeah.
SoundCloud
Yeah.
or something. You know. So that moment is kind of imprinted on my mind. But then everything since then feels just like yesterday.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, of course.
And there is the nature of kind of DJing and producing is a bit Groundhog Day.
Yeah.
You know, it is like, okay, you're in a different country, but it's still the same scenario, basically. You know.
Yeah.
And I kind of like that. It's like.
It's familiar, isn't it? Like.
Yeah, but it's almost like the myth of Sisyphus. You know, he's constantly pushing the boulder up the hill, and then has to start again. You know, and but you know, I mean, it's enjoyable. It's not a toil like that, but I mean, just I don't know. It appeals to me. There's something mythic about it. I think, you know, and I always like approach it like Groundhog Day, where you're trying to do the day better
every time. Yeah, you know? That's quite a nice way to look at it, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Right. So, born and raised in Cardiff.
Yeah, or one of its satellites.
Yeah. Like Penarth.
Yeah.
Where are your kind of favourite places to hang out and kind of venues you like to go to and stuff like that? For anyone coming down around the weekend in March.
Yeah.
Like, what would you recommend?
You know, there's the Welsh Club and Buffalo.
Yeah.
And 10 Feet Tall. It's a shame Cardiff Arts Institute closed down.
Yeah, that is a shame.
That was a good spot.
Yeah.
But the Welsh Club, Clwb Vorbach, is where I first went out in like '98.
Yeah.
To see Groove Rider playing there in March '98, I believe. And then that's also where I had my first kind of proper residency.
Yeah.
And you know, a lot of history there. So it's kind of funny to still go back there from time to time.
Yeah. Nostalgic.
Yeah, but you know, that's where the Aperture Night is running, and you know, drum and bass has its home there in Cardiff.
Yeah, that's Aperture in Clwb Vorbach. You should go check it out. Right. Okay. This is one that I want to explore a little bit because I only know vague little things about it. And so you used to vocal in a band of some sorts, wasn't it? Like. Is it like a metal band or something like that? Like,
yeah.
Which led to kind of MCing.
Yeah.
And stuff.
I was more of an MC
Yeah.
in a metal band. You know,
Okay.
it was like kind of Korn,
Wicked.
Cold Chain
Nice.
vibe.
New metal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was bringing that hip hop edge
Yeah,
to it.
yeah, cool, okay. Fred style.
Yeah. I was very young.
Yeah.
And naive. But yeah, it was my first kind of foray into music.
Yeah.
Performance of some description. And you know, we did okay. But it fell apart. As these things do. And I my interest in drum and bass was just kind of taking off then, and I kind of segued into MCing in some clubs.
Is that kind of how you got into drum and bass and stuff? I mean, like, what kind of drew you into it? Like,
I don't know. It was just the sound just fascinated me, and I just wanted to get involved any way I could. So I started to buy records to learn to DJ, started to produce, MCing, promoting a little bit. You know.
Yeah.
Just wanted to be involved. You know,
Yeah.
just out of the love of the game.
Yeah, the love of it. Cool. Right then. Who is ticking all the right boxes for you at the moment within the drum and bass scene? I mean, is there anyone that we should be kind of looking out for, that you've kind of come across or whatever?
Yeah. I don't know. I think one of my favourite DJs at the moment is Spy.
Yeah.
he's been around a long time, and I'm really glad that Hospital signed him.
Yeah.
He's the king of the rollers.
Yeah, definitely.
Gotta have a spy tune in there.
Yeah, gangster.
Production wise, I really like Metric.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Definitely want to hear more from him. I really liked his last EP.
Was that the one on Viper? Yeah.
I like Mutated Forms as well.
Yeah.
They've just done a remix of a Fred V tune that I really like.
Yeah, I saw that. Is it Find My Way or something like that?
Yeah, I can't remember the name of it.
It's good.
Yeah, I like that tune. And I'm waiting to get the new batch of Fred V and graphics tunes as well. Because I think that's another good signing for Hospital.
It is, yeah. It's quite an interesting one. It's quite exciting as well. I mean, they're both quite young as well.
Yeah.
I'm similar age to them, and that's huge.
They might even be younger than you.
I think Josh is younger actually.
Right, wow.
Yeah.
It's
So
cool.
that must be like wow.
yeah.
But no, they're killing it. Okay. Right, this is going to be one of those typical kind of cliche questions now.
Okay.
You're deserted on an island, so you're stranded, but a magical genie pops out of a palm tree
This guy.
and basically grants you 3 requests other than, you can't leave, so you're stranded.
Okay.
But you got 3 requests. What would they be? Like anything.
Well, a cinema would be good.
Yeah.
With a Netflix account or something.
Yeah. Just need a Wi-Fi connection as well.
Yeah. I don't know if that's kind of cheating, having internet connection.
I don't know. I haven't decided yet.
Tell me, Jimmy. I mean, if you couldn't have an internet connection, then I think I'd need some pen and paper.
Yeah.
Or a typewriter. Ideally like pen and paper.
Yeah.
Because as a kid, I started my first kind of creative thing was kind of drawing.
Yeah.
I was really into kind of comic books and things,
Cool.
and then writing my own stories and. So I think that when you're on a desert island, you have to go back
You need
to
something
where you came from.
Yeah, definitely.
And laptops and everything. The original is the pen and paper.
Yeah.
So a stock of that. Would I have any company on the island?
That's a good question.
I don't know. It might be more trouble than it's worth. You might go nuts if there's someone else on the island with you.
Yeah.
A cinema would be cool, definitely.
Yeah.
With air conditioning on the desert.
Yeah. Is the air conditioning counting as the 3rd request?
I don't know. That's a bit stingy.
Yeah. No, you can have another one.
I don't know. A chef.
That's a good idea. I didn't actually think of that one because I was trying to think what I would say, and chef didn't come up actually. Food, yeah. But yeah, okay. That's good answers. Right then.
What's next?
Okay, this is quite a broad one really. But I mean, if you do have one or kind of, well, I'll tell you what, I'll just ask it. What's your main source of inspiration? Is it music? I mean, or are you inspired by other things? Especially when kind of writing is concerned,
I don't really listen to drum and bass I don't really listen to music in general.
Yeah.
At home, or even in the car so much.
Yeah.
Other people are usually kind of shocked when they come round and there's no stereo and I'm not playing music all the time.
Yeah.
It's because I'm so kind of analytical. I can't have something on in the background.
I'm the same.
If I listen to a piece of music,
I'm listening to individual things.
I sit there and listen to the piece of music and
that kick drum's nice.
and don't do anything else.
Yeah.
But I try not to. I listen to drum and bass when I've got my DJ hat on.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, you know, what am I going to play and working out the set and things like that. But outside of that specific context, I try not to listen to it because I don't want to be too infected with current trends and what other people are doing.
Yeah.
I try to keep it more personal.
Is that kind of rolling in line with that kind of limiting yourself?
Maybe.
Kind of theory, because it makes sense really in a way as well, doesn't it? You're not kind of having to listen to so much stuff that it all becomes just kind of this big mess of everything going on at the moment and getting sucked into it. I guess if you take yourself out of it, it gives you a chance to really kind of explore your own. Sort of
like during this album, I was probably mostly listening to the classical music.
Okay.
You know? But you know, I don't know if you can hear that in the record or not. But inspiration-wise, it's kind of, I don't know, emotions and moments I'm trying to create for people, maybe, or for myself as well. But it's hard to put it into words, really. But I couldn't say like a specific artist or something that has inspired this record, really.
Yeah. Okay. Right. So you're going to be touring this album now, then. Where can people expect to see you this year, and where are you most looking forward to playing?
Well, there'll be a lot of shows in the UK. A lot of the hospitalities. We'll do Brixton Academy at the start of April. One of the biggest shows. And then there's a number in Europe as well. We're doing an American tour throughout March. Which I really want to play at South by Southwest. Which I've never been to before, but I've always wanted to go. So I'm excited about that one.
Wicked. Cool. Okay. Right. So I guess that's pretty much it for my questions. But we'll have. Do you have any?
Well, are you looking forward to the Cardiff Hospitality Games? Yes,
I am. It's always good fun.
Yeah.
And the lineup there is always quite nice, especially because we have you playing and stuff, and it's kind of like it is hometown glory. That remix every time in Cardiff, it just goes off. It's a great night, and it's quite nice because it's only maybe once or twice a year, really, that it happens in Cardiff. We have a massive night like that, and it's really nice to kind of see such a positive night as well.
And I try not to play too much in Cardiff. I don't really know that thing of when it's your hometown and you kind of, becoming too visible.
Of course.
People, I don't want people to get sick of me.
No, exactly. I think that would be anyone's kind of.
It's good to try and keep it special.
Yeah, definitely. Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I'm looking forward to it too.
Yeah, this should be good.
Okay, we'll see you then.
Yeah. Boom.